OC News, Orange County declares a state of emergency on coronavirus. Next, are Ash Wednesday traditions changing? And finally, it's Mardi Gras week in New Orleans. All this and more here on OC News. Welcome to joining us at OC News. I'm Kyle Fulbright. OC News is brought to you by the broadcast journalism students at Cal State Fullerton. Our top story is concerns over the coronavirus. We turn to Justina Hernandez, who has more on this.
The Orange County Board of Supervisors declares a state of emergency in response to the coronavirus that has been globally affecting thousands. This alert follows Santa Clara County and San Diego County, who announced similar concerns earlier this month, alongside with San Francisco. According to officials, Orange County has begun to initiate testing on patients who experience flu-like symptoms for coronavirus. Orange County health officials did confirm one case late January regarding a patient who tested positive for the coronavirus, but has officially recovered since then. President Donald Trump nationally addresses coronavirus concerns as outbreaks keep spreading. President Trump's press conference follows arguments made by the Democratic candidates concerning the administration's response to the coronavirus efficient. Trump believes that the United States is doing a good job in keeping the virus contained. In fact, he announces that the United States to rate at #1 in health preparedness. He further adds that any expense necessary will be met. Trump also announces Vice President Mike Pence to be in charge of working alongside with the health team. Many prestigious university study abroad programs have decided to cancel their programs. To give us a little more information, we have our reporter Marina Rodriguez live on campus.
Thank you, Justina. Earlier today, USC, NYU, Elon University, and 4 other very prestigious universities canceled their study abroad programs due to the spread of the coronavirus rapidly spreading in Asia and also in Europe, especially in Italy. Today we spoke to a very concerned CSUF student on his thoughts on why universities are canceling this and what he thinks about it. Let's hear it.
Considering the organization of CS as a whole, it is a good idea because you're kind of setting the example, and you really need to set the right example in that situation. But on a student level, I don't think it's a good idea because, with necessary precautions and just being safe and being sound, I think you'll be fine as long as you know what you're doing and you'll be protected. Yeah.
For more information on the study abroad program and how CSUF programs might be affected, we have Kyle with a very special guest in our studio. Kyle?
One of the most popular study abroad programs at Cal State Fullerton is the Florence Italy program. Joining us to discuss the Italy program and others is the director of the College of Communications Maxwell Center, Dean Cazaleias. Thanks for joining us, Dr. Cazaleias.
My pleasure.
So a lot of our students right now are studying abroad. Are those students who are currently abroad being asked to return home because of the coronavirus scares over there?
Well, there's some good news and some bad news. The good news is, although it was bad news a little bit earlier, is the Florence program for the summer didn't make this year. So whereas there are quite a few students that are Northern Italy that have actually gotten out, they've left, they've been sent home, we don't have any there. The bad news is we did have students that were going to Korea, and schools in Korea are sending their students home. And you know what? This is actually the second time in about 5-6 years it happened. It happened during MERS. And really what happens is our partners are just being on the safe side. When there is a risk for our students, they feel responsible for our students, so they do the smart thing and the right thing, which is to make sure that our students are at less risk, which is to send them home.
Yeah, definitely. As the next program coming up is the summer program, are there any plans for them right now for students who plan on going in the summer? What would you say to them?
Well, I think again we have other programs. For example, Kyle, we have the CTVA's International Reality Television and its Intercultural Communications Barcelona program. I mean, what we're doing is we're watching it. I think the thing you remember is that when you're looking at things like coronavirus or one of these outbreaks, it's really difficult to predict what things will look like at 90 days. In 90 days, this may be completely gone. In 90 days, this may still be out here. But the university, from the very top level at risk management down to the study abroad office, down to the college, we're watching this. So we're not going to put students at risk. So in other words, students shouldn't worry in the sense that we're not going to put them at risk. The university won't do that, nor will the college.
Yeah, is there anything right now with the coronavirus that's affecting international students that attend Cal State Fullerton?
Well, yes. The other night, I was actually I was on messaging with our partners at DEMA in Korea, and they were saying we're sending our students home, which is exactly what happened about 5 years ago. 5 years ago, they had MERS in Korea. Got a call very late at night, time difference, saying, Dr. Kazuloya, look, we don't want to take any chances. I just want you to know that all of your students will be returning within 24 hours. Please let their parents know. So yes, we've had students that basically were in Korea or on their way to Korea and are now coming back. Similarly, across the CSU, students that were in Korea or were going to go to China now aren't going.
Yeah, you've been at the Maxwell Center now for 10 years. Has there been anything like this since you've been there? Have you seen anything like this before? Yes,
literally 5 years ago we had MERS, which was Middle East Respiratory Syndrome, and that's exactly what happened. The hard part was that really hit Korea. You know, if students were to go online and look up wedding picture Korea, and they'll see an entire wedding party wearing masks. They have to understand this, that when this occurs in these countries, everything shuts down. People don't go out. In other words, they don't go out shopping, government offices shut down, schools shut down. So 5 years ago when MERS hit Korea, you know what? Everything was shut down and they sent the students home. The hard part 5 years ago is that it actually hit in a town right next to where our students were staying, which is at DEMA in South Korea.
All right, that's all I have for here. Thank you for joining us today, Doctor.
My pleasure, anytime.
That's all I have for you guys here. And now we send it over to Justina Hernandez, who has all the insight on how the coronavirus is affecting the stock market. Justina?
It also appears that the coronavirus is affecting worldwide business. We have reporter Richard Quest from New York with the details. Richard?
It is the range of companies and the depth and severity of consequences that's now starting to become clear, and it is across a large sector of the economy. Take, for example, food and drink. Two companies to watch out for, Diageo and Danone. Diageo, makers of Johnny Walker, Smirnoff, Guinness, being heavily affected. You wonder, how can that be? Well, think about it. The bars are closed in China, and $420 million in sales hit this year alone, they believe will come as a result of the Chinese effect. And then you have Danone, a good, safe, old-fashioned type company, but it makes Evian, Alpro yogurt and the like. And in Danone's case, it's the Chinese factory that's closed. Expected $109 million of first quarter sales. Food and beverage is crucial. And then you have the automobile industry. Now, even for those companies that don't actually manufacture there is going to be a knock-on effect. Moody's says the global car sales will slump by 2.5%. For instance, Jaguar Land Rover is seeing no sales in China. Nissan has closed its plants and now remain closed until at least March the 11th. The airline industry had two announcements from key airlines on Wednesday. KLM and Lufthansa, both making budget cuts, freezing hiring, and in the case of Lufthansa, asking staff to take unpaid leave. Lufthansa admitted it has about 13 aircraft on the ground at the moment. The situation is serious, and day by day, we're getting more evidence of just how bad it's likely to get to global corporations. Richard Quest, CNN, New York.
That's all I have. Back to you at the desk, Kyle.
Thank you, Justina. Coming up after our commercial break, a refinery fire breaks out in Carson. Then the Santa Ana winds have made its way to Southern California. Finally, we'll be taking a closer look at the Mardi Gras traditions in New Orleans. Stay tuned here at OC News.
son wants to get a cat, but you're allergic. Do you A, prepare yourself, B, make the best of it,
C squared equals
25.
Good job.
or C, find a loophole? When it comes to parenting, there are no perfect answers, but that's okay,
Santa
because
Ana
you don't
wins.
have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Teens in foster care will love you just the same.
My mother was always very familiar with her neighborhood, but one day she stopped at the stop sign for much longer than usual. And she didn't know whether she should go forward or turn, and she wasn't even really sure where she was at. It was very unsettling for her.
I felt so much better after my son told me, "Mom, I don't want you to worry or be afraid. I'll be there for you and we'll figure it out."
An active shooter opened fire this afternoon in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Multiple people killed and injured at the Molson Coors complex. The company informed their employees via email asking them to hide in place that an active shooter was in the building. The shooter was located in the second floor of the stairwell of one of their buildings. According to the Associated Press, at least 600 people work at the complex. Milwaukee Mayor Tom Barrett was at the scene and stated the facilities in which the shooter was included. The Molson Coors beverage company tweeted about the ongoing, stating, "We are working closely with the Milwaukee Police Department. Our top priority is our employees and will provide updates in conjunction with the police as we are able." According to the Milwaukee Police, there is no active threat. However, the scene is still active. On Tuesday, a man was shot and killed by the Brea Police Department. The shooting occurred around 5:30 p.m. and no officers were injured during this, according to the Sheriff's Department. Authorities are still investigating whether or not the man had a gun. An altercation after a violent crash involving a stolen vehicle led to a police shooting that left a rookie officer injured and a suspect dead in Garden Grove early morning. According to officials, when police attempted to contact one of the people in the vehicle which struck a light pole, the suspect attacked the officer. The shooting occurred in the 13,500 block of Harbor Boulevard at about 1:25 a.m. After police responded to a traffic collision, the suspect later died after he and the officer were transported to local hospitals. They did not include any gunshot wounds. They were described as non-life-threatening. The officer has been with the department for about a year and a half and just passed his probationary period. The Orange County District Attorney's Office and Garden Grove police investigators will review the officer's body cam footage, and investigation is ongoing. The Los Angeles County Fire Department says the Marathon Petroleum Refinery exploded around 10:50 p.m. last night. This caused an aftermath on the 405 Interstate Freeway at Wilmington Avenue. For the next hour, the refinery's manager says no injuries were accounted for in a news conference. The fire department says no cause has been found for the explosion. Powerful Santa Ana winds blew through Southern California this morning, including 106-mile-an-hour gusts that may be the highest ever recorded in San Diego County. A high wind warning in effect for San Diego County Valley and mountain areas is set to expire today at 4 p.m. Offshore winds weren't as powerful elsewhere in Southern California, but still have reached up to 57 miles per hour in Orange County Santa Ana mountains. In addition to powerful winds, the latest Santa Ana wind event had also been bringing to normal temperature to Southern California. Those are expected to continue through Thursday, which will likely be the hottest day of the week. Today is Ash Wednesday, meaning we are 40 days, excluding Sundays, away from Easter. Many Christians gather in their home churches today to get the sign of the cross marked on their foreheads and are also giving up some of their life's pleasures for Lent. But how have the traditions changed over time? Today's Christians don't fast like they did when Lent started in the 5th century. Fasting meant giving up fish and meat until Good Friday. Many Christians today have discontinued to follow this old tradition and instead have given up such things as soda, alcohol, social media accounts, and fast food. It's Mardi Gras, also known as Fat Tuesday in New Orleans. This marks the last day of carnival season, one day prior to Ash Wednesday. CNN has more of what's happening over in the French Quarter.
Happy Mardi Gras. Right now we are on Bourbon Street and this is where the party will end. But it all began this morning with the parades just a couple of blocks away from where we're standing, where the family traditions continue. The crews that are participating in these parades telling us that they want the public to know that this is really the heart and soul of the city and of Mardi Gras.
The time has finally come. Mardi Gras underway in New Orleans.
It's hard to imagine how much people look forward to the parade every year and how much people look forward to Mardi Gras, and you want to make it worth their while.
Floats, costumes, and music making their way down parade routes around the city. Crews running the parades have been preparing for months.
We've got sculptors and painters, seamstresses, jewelers, paper arts, a whole series of industries that really make this such a beautiful celebration.
Mardi Gras fuels the city's economy and guarantees a memorable time for the thousands that come to watch the parades.
I'm gonna take you to see the Zulu King in New Orleans at the Mardi Gras.
Tell me something!
From coconuts to beads, this year's focus for many has been on more environmentally friendly throws.
We have just tried to emphasize quality over quantity, go with more reusable items, and so we do have a lot of those this year.
And once the family-friendly part of the day is done, the party will head on to Bourbon Street.
Now I do want to show you some of the throws. This shoe is from the crew of Muses. It's unique, it's sparkly, and of course beautiful. And then this one here from Rex, they're using stainless steel cups instead of their traditional plastic cups because of course they want this to be a green, sustainable throw. Reporting in New Orleans, I'm Camila Bernal. Back to you.
That's all we have for you today. Thanks for watching today's show, and tune in every Monday and Wednesday at 5 p.m. Also be sure to follow us on all major social media platforms at OC News CSUF. I'm Kyle Fulbright. Have a good evening.